Welcome to Mates Rates Podcast episode 28. How are you all doing, everyone? It's been like 3 weeks since I've done a podcast episode. So yeah, it's been a while, but as you can probably tell if you follow me on the socials, you know why. So happy Wu-Tang Wednesday, everyone, which is when I'm recording this. I finally did my fucking short film. Finally. Oh my God. Let me tell you how good it feels to get that out. Yeah, where do I begin with it? So, this podcast is going to be split depending on how much time that I actually have between talking about my short film and the process behind that, and then obviously just going into what I've missed and what has been happening for the last few weeks. So yeah, short film is done. It's out. It's been out for a couple of days. Thank you for everyone that has watched it. It's kind of crazy that, like a few hundred people have watched it already. Like that's fucking nuts. I know in the grand scope of things, it's not much when it comes to video views, but the thing I always kind of go back to is translating those numbers into people, because like those views are unique views. So yeah, putting a couple hundred people in a room is pretty fucking sick, that's for sure. So first off, thank you for everyone that has watched it and given feedback and, told me that they loved it, they hated it, whatever. Just thank you for just checking it out in general. So as I said before in my YouTube video, I wrote this during lockdown last year, and it was funny. There was like, the process was with the writing, it went through a lot of different versions. Originally, it's always been a comedy, but it was very technical sided, I guess you could say. So, I did this whole bit where I spoke about, like I wrote in the dialogue that the original concept was the influencer fucked up. He didn't fuck a pig, but he did something messed up. And then they did an apology video, like the influencer managers did their own apology video purely for their own benefit, like their own financial benefit, because they released it on their own YouTube channel, and that's how they got the money. And it is a funny concept, but you really got to spoon feed that to a greater audience. So after workshopping it, sorry, I just need to get my cat. After workshopping it with the actors, it was just like a mutual agreement that it wasn't working, and I was ending up with more questions than answers, which is that's the worst part, is when you're writing. It's like, fuck, like, you get the questions of someone who doesn't know this space, doesn't know like what entails in terms of the social media world. So I was like, fuck it, all right, let's kind of strip it back and just make it a ridiculous, outrageous comedy. And I think I did it. I think I kind of, hit the nail on the head in terms of what I wanted to achieve with it. Just trying to think. Yeah, so that it went through probably like, I don't know, a dozen or so versions before I landed on the actual final script. I'm pretty sure it was about a dozen rewrites. And do you know what's really funny? I actually originally had a Prince Philip joke in there, which is always a good time. But he actually died while I was writing it. So I couldn't really, like, I could have well and truly still kept that joke in there. I had no problem doing it. But then I thought, fuck, man, like white people just go nuts. So that's when it switched to the royal wedding. Okay, you see the fucking correlations now? You see the wheels spinning in my head? So yeah, that was basically the writing process, and it was honestly so much fun. It was really good. I just have to have a huge shout out to Alice and Jonathan, the actors in it, because they brought a lot to the table, and it was just a really fun experience, just sitting around, laughing, coming up with ideas of like jokes and things like that to fill in the space, because they didn't really understand the influencer space that well. So I came with all of that knowledge, and that's what the core of the script is. But when it came to the ridiculousness of it and how far we could stretch the jokes, that was a collaborative effort from everyone, and that was the most fun part of it, is just seeing how far we could push it. And initially, it was actually a lot bigger in terms of the jokes. Like, we had a lot more ridiculous jokes in there. We had, yeah, basically that. We pushed it too far and then stripped it all back once we were doing blocking and rehearsals. And that's really something that's really important when you're doing film, is doing these things, whether it's table reads. We did like 5 table reads. You can see if you're watching the video version, you can see my cat trying to jump up on my on my shelving unit, because he hasn't had enough attention today. Where was I at with it? I've forgotten because my cat fucking distracted me. That's it. Podcast is over. 6.5 minutes. That'll do. No. So I'm just carefully watching my cat. I'm just going to put him on my lap. That sounds like a good plan. So big shout out to Alice and Jonathan for coming up with their ideas and helping me piece together this ridiculous, absurd story. I'm just trying to think of like where I'm wildly unprepared for this. I feel like it's my Oscar speech, just what am I gonna say of all these people in front of me? No, okay, so the writing process. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, we did a bunch of table reads, which was really good to kind of fine tune the script, and then we did a day of, well, not a day, but like a couple of hours of blocking at location, getting it right, and then we came around to shoot day, and like fuck man, like getting the shoot organized was it was a challenge and a half, let me tell you what. Like, I had DPs locked in, and then they had to bail because they had other commitments or something else came up, which is totally understandable for these indie projects, because you're relying on your homies to do it for basically nothing or an extremely low rate. So if another gig comes up, I totally understand if they got a dip to do that. But managed to get the smallest crew together imaginable for it, just to get the job done. And again, shout out to Campbell, Rob, Cameron, Jesse, and of course my wife Caitlin for helping out on set. That was a lot of fun. It's funny so our soundie's name is Rob Rogers. Just let that sink in. Rob Rogers was his name, and I messaged my friend who recommended me to him, and I was like, bro, you like that, you're fucking with me. That no one has that name. It gets wilder. His name is Rob Roger the Fourth. That's nuts. Rob Rogers or Rob Roger? I've already forgotten. I'm bad. But the shoot was just like a lot of fun, and I'm currently working on the behind the scenes video, but there'll be like some bloopers and stuff in there as well, because like some of that shit was really funny. But we shot that whole thing in 4 hours, which is fucking nuts. It was like, how many? I'm gonna bring up my script because I got my laptop in front of me. But we shot the whole. Here it is. V13 is how many versions I got. So it's an 8-page script, and we shot that in 4 hours. So we did 2 pages an hour, which was nuts. We wrapped pretty late. We wrapped at like 11:30, and by the time we got out of location and stuff, it was probably 1:45. We did it on like a weekday. So I feel bad for everyone that had to go to work the next day. But it's nuts that we managed to do so much in such a little time. I'm just trying to think. And when it comes to the actual production of it, there's obviously so much more that I wanted to do with it. Initially, there was 2 locations, so the nighttime montage scene was actually done at Alice's house. I scouted out this fucking dope like penthouse type location in St Kilda. We're gonna go there and film it, but it just didn't make sense. Like that was in like the older versions of the script, so it I don't know why we ended up scrapping it. It was something to do with the script. It just didn't match. And I wanted the whiteboard idea and I wanted to hold that till the end, and then it just kind of made sense to keep everything in the office. But it's crazy because someone online, an absolute fucking psychopath, did a 35-minute review on my short film that goes for 7 minutes. Again, crazy. But shout out to that person who did it, because I actually had like a lot of constructive things to talk about. And I basically agreed with all of his feedback, and he gave me props, which is good as well. Cause I thought, I was like, oh fuck, half an hour. Here we go. He's going to stop every 2 seconds and tell me what I did wrong. And it's a fucking indie short. We did it for like $1,000, mate, and a lot of favors and a pile of pizzas. Okay. Like don't have the biggest things, but no, he was really fair with it, and he understood it was like low budget. And he actually brought that up, saying like it got a bit stale for 7 minutes of being at the same location, and I totally agree. 7 minutes is way too long for one location, but we just didn't have the time or budget to do other locations and things like that. And that's purely what a lot of film comes down to, is just time and money. But I did everything I wanted to. I got it over the line, and that's all that matters. We didn't really have much room to breathe in terms of like how many takes we could do. So like each scene that we did, I did about 3 takes of it and moved on. But if there was like a certain joke I wanted to get, we did that like a few times. Like the line where Alice says, "Oh, he didn't eat it, he just fucked it." We did that like 6 times, just that line, because I really wanted to get that line, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, and then obviously, post-production was just fucking post-production, really, wasn't it? It's funny because when I was doing the color grade, I was finishing it. It was done actually, and then when I exported it, it looked different, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Found out it was like some tech shit that I had to do in my settings, so I did that, and then it reset my whole color grade. I didn't like fully reset it, but it like undid a lot. So then I had to go back through it and then apply like a new color grade. And this is just fucking tech error at this point, but yeah, no, I'm really happy with how it came out. And as I mentioned in my previous YouTube video before I released it, doing something like a short film takes a lot of fucking effort. Okay, this shit is not easy, especially when you're doing it solo. And again, no money involved and things like that. Something that I got told very, very early on in my career is not even that early, to be honest with you. It was actually kind of recent. But something that I got told is by someone who I really look up to is just do something and just get it out there. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's fucking amazing or shit. Just get something out there, because he said 99% of the struggle is just doing something and getting it out there. And I totally agree. And I feel like there has been some form of criticism towards the short film, and that's fine. Everyone's got their opinion. I don't really give a fuck. But, a lot of that criticism, in a way, and it's so fucking, I don't want to put myself on a pedestal here and talk about it too much, but a lot of it's kind of come from a place of jealousy of might be other people in the industry or other peers or whoever in your life who is just jealous that you've gone and done that thing. And that makes me sleep well at night instead of being like, oh, why do they hate it? Freaking out over it. But it's true, because I've been that person. I've been really early on in my career, and this is fucking confession time. When I was doing music videos, I was getting jealous of my friends that were doing music videos for bands that were, of some form of status, and they were doing like these cool videos. And instead of giving them props, I was just jealous and I was angry at them. And it's funny because one of my closest fucking friends, I didn't speak to him for 6 months, and it was purely from a place of jealousy. So, I'm not naming names, but if you're watching this, my boy, his name might rhyme with Schmed. Shout out to my boy Ed. But yeah, for anyone who knows my life to that level, there was a time where I didn't really like Ed that much because he's doing really cool music videos, and I wasn't. So yeah, that's what I got told. Really, that's what I got told about the short, and it's made me feel a lot better when I see bozos or making, they might be like laughing behind my back and stuff, but I don't care. It's been happening my whole life, so I don't give a shit. Maybe that's like some meta thing, and it's like, I'm saying I don't give a shit, but I'm really giving a shit. Speaking of meta, actually, it's funny because this dude that did this 35-minute review on the short film mentioned something about like, I can't remember what it was, but some aspect of the film, he's like, oh, they must have like really put a lot of thought into this thing, and I had zero thought into that. And I was like, yep, that's it, mate. That's exactly what I was thinking. Which is like another funny bit of film. We all had to do English in school and study like literature and art and film and stuff. And I remember like, looking into shit way too deep, and that's exactly what it is. And things aren't that deep, Basically, the idea of just the short film was just to make people laugh and just to come out as like my debut piece as like a writer director, to be like, yo, I can write and direct. I know like I'm a commercial filmmaker by trade, but I can write and direct. So here you go. You have some content, enjoy, and I might do more in the future. It's definitely inspired me to do more, like 1,000%. Again, it's just like that initial getting it out there. And I'm having the same fucking feeling that I had when I started filming bands. Exact same fucking feeling, man. I remember the first time I filmed a band and I was like, I want to be doing this shit. And I fucking did it. And, maybe my whole writing and directing career might fall on its ass, but I'm saying no to that idea, because I'm really hyped to doing it more. So I really hope you enjoy it. I'm going to start submitting it to some online festivals and seeing how it goes. But I don't know, man. Maybe I shouldn't. It's like a lot of money. And I don't really care for these people's opinion. So yeah, I still don't know what I want to do with it. I might turn it to a mini series just about the apology. I might just turn that whole world concept, I might think further about that into a mini series, or I might just fucking move on and do my own thing. But I'm keen to get back into more writing, which is why I haven't really been doing much of the podcast lately. I've been kind of this is like check on yourself type time of the podcast, and it got deep. I can dim the lights and shit like that. But as exciting as it has been to release the short film, I've just kind of I'm not gonna exude my issues to people online, but I have been struggling a lot mentally lately. The lockdown kind of fucked me, and just a myriad of other things. And maybe it's like the life of an artist or some shit like that. I don't know if you want to think about it in like at that meta deep term, but I haven't been well mentally. But I had to take that time off to really just focus my energy on the short film, because I've been working so much as well, man. Like I've been fucking bust my ass off on set or in an edit, and then coming home and working on the short film. That's all I've been doing for the last few weeks. But I am feeling better, especially now that I've got the short film out there and I've got some, positive affirmations. I'm not ready to fucking hang up my camera gear just yet. That's for sure, folks. But yeah, no, things like that and releasing the YouTube video actually has given me like a huge boost of confidence, and I'm really keen to do more YouTube videos actually. Especially just after doing that YouTube video, the one that I released before the short film, kind of, hyping it up a little bit. Because yeah, fuck man, I just had the biggest mental blank. This is like side effect of what I've been going through. I've just been blanking hard lately, which again is like why I've been struggling to do this podcast. Making excuses. But yeah, I'm keen to do more YouTube videos because I did that whole YouTube. Now, to give context, normally with my YouTube videos, it takes me like 2 hours to do. In terms of talking to the camera, I get nervous. I don't know what I'm saying. I stumble on my words. Sometimes I restart the whole thing. But that YouTube video where I was just talking about my short and just made a bunch of jokes, that I filmed all of that in like 10 minutes, which was fucking sick. I don't know if you could tell I filmed it in 10 minutes, but I filmed it in 10 minutes. So yeah, I did that, and it just kind of made me realize, oh, maybe I have a knack for talking online. And this podcast has definitely helped with that, Sorry, I'm just feeling a bit run down at the moment, so I do apologize. But yeah, I am kind of more motivated now to do more shit for YouTube because there's just like so many times where I've written jokes or watched something and I think I can laugh about it. And I'm like, there's no way I can develop this more into something like a short. And this would be something that just lives on as like a reaction video or a little sketch video. So I'm now kind of looking more into that. And that's exactly how the apology started. It was literally me just like watching these influencers fuck up religiously. And I was like, I gotta, clown on these losers. And then, the rest is history. What was that sound? Oh, my laptop's about to take off. That's fucking sick. Well done. All right. What else do I have in my notes? I've got a lot here because I have not been here for a few weeks. So where do I want to talk out? Let's go into film review out. Let's keep the fucking movie shit going here, folks. So I just want to say I went to the movies for the first time since the pandemic, and boy did I miss that shit. I've been to the drive-ins once, and I've been to a rooftop cinema once since the pandemic. Not the same as being in an actual cinema though, with the fucking surround sound and the popcorn and shit, like the good shit. So went to see A Quiet Place Part 2 and did not disappoint. John Krasinski is a fucking killer writer-director, and he absolutely smashed that movie out of the park. However, the movie was really loud. First time in over a year since I've been to the fucking movies. And I forgot how loud the movie was, and I was about to talk. I nearly turned to Caitlin and asked them and said, should I ask him to turn the fucking movie down? Because I was like, a movie supposed to be this loud? I have forgotten. Had a good few jump scares, nearly threw the popcorn out of my fucking hands, which is always a fun, embarrassing moment. So, yeah, went to see Quiet Place Part 2, which was, it's one of those, I think just being in that environment, accumulation of that, and finishing my short film, just these things have just really, like, motivated me to get back into the world of movies and stuff. So, definitely keen to go back. Next on the list is the new Conjuring movie. I'm really interested about that. And you know what? I'm not a huge horror fan. I do like horror films, but I'm not a horror fan. So, but I got to see the Conjuring because I've committed to this universe, this Conjuring universe for the past, 10 years? So I got to keep it going. So, yeah, that's basically it. I'm just trying to think if there was anything more specific I wanted to say about Quiet Place Part 2. I like the idea of expanding on it. It gave me huge Last of Us vibes, which was really cool. I don't know if that was like an inspiration, but well, I don't know. It's a pretty lazy thing, like post-apocalyptic type movie. Kind of anything can relate to The Last of Us now that I think about it. Um, but yeah, again, the sound design of that is fucking phenomenal and goes to show how important it is to have sound in your film. Shout out to Matt, who plays in antagonist AD. If you are into heavy hardcore music, shout out to Matt and his band, and mainly just Matt because he did the sound design for a short film. He came through and really fucking saved the day. So shout out to you. Shout out to your band as well. Back to film review again. I watched that movie Army of the Dead. Now, if you don't know Army of the Dead, it's a really good movie. I'm just going to say it's really good. I thought it was fucking fantastic. I thought it was a really interesting concept. So basically the synopsis is it's like a heist movie during a zombie apocalypse. So the zombie apocalypse only affected Vegas. And then these people go in and, they've got to like recover like $200 million for this guy type thing. It's very Fast and Furious type vibes. That was a terrible terrible comparison because, Fast and Furious is like a fucking meme. But for me, the whole time I was leading up to the movie, because I think I only watched the preview once, and it's maybe where I slipped up and didn't think about what the movie was actually about. But I was like, why are they like recovering money during a zombie apocalypse? Like, wouldn't money be like the last thing that you would want during a fucking apocalypse? But no, like, they go to explain that, I don't know if this is explained in the trailer either, but like Vegas is like completely blocked off from the outside world. And it's just Vegas that's covered, infested with zombies. So pretty interesting concept right off the bat. So yeah, it's kind of like an Ocean's 11 cross Fast and Furious cross. Leroy didn't really like that Fast and Furious reference. Cross, The Walking Dead or some shit like that, or whatever the zombie movie that you enjoy. But it's just one of those great movies to switch off. Because I told Caitlin it was during lockdown. I was like having the worst time. I was like, I just want a movie where I don't have to fucking think about anything. Because if I think anymore, it's going to be bad. And we watched it and it did the job. It just took my mind off everything that was happening. And it was just like a fun movie to watch. That's the best part about it. You should go watch these shit movies. You should just watch crazy movies like these because they're just fun to watch. And that's why I love the Fast and Furious franchise because of that. It's just so ridiculous. You're like, cool, sick, planes blowing up and tanks and shit and dragging massive vaults down the street. Let's go. Let's fucking do it. I don't care. Because, I started becoming like an over analysis type person. And I started doing that during Army of the Dead. And I was like, Caitlin and I started talking at the start of the movie. And we're like, nah, we can't fucking do this. We need to switch off. So, yeah, it's one of those great movies that you can just take your mind off whatever's happening in the world and just enjoy it. The whole thing, tech hour, fucking sue me, right? It's only my fucking job. The whole movie was shot at f1.4. Now, if you see me right now, the background is like really out of focus, a little bit out of focus, I guess. But when you shoot at f1.4, I'm only just in focus, like barely in focus, and the rest of me is fully out of focus. And that's how the whole movie was. And it was weird during the bits of dialogue where there's two actors talking side by side and one's out of focus and one's not, because they didn't rack focus to the other person or cut to another angle. So you just saw this really blurry figure talking in some scenes. So, that focus puller, give them a fucking Oscar. They deserve it. If this is your Oscar, this other microphone, that's what the focus puller should have for that fucking movie. Just great. I also got the thumbnail while I was pausing for that, if you're wondering. So a very risky choice of doing that, because you might have noticed in another bug, my short film. There was some scenes where I didn't cut back to one of the actors for whatever line they were dishing back because either the cut was too quick or, it just didn't matter. Like the audio flowed better that way. So that's why I did that, big brain thinking for film. So yeah, but other than that, fucking fantastic movie, makes me want to go back to Vegas. Remember traveling? Yeah, that's yeah. And afterwards you're like, oh, depressed because I can't go to Vegas. So yeah, I'm just trying to think like, okay, there is one more thing I kind of want to talk about actually, and I do have a bunch of shit here that I will talk about next week. Oh, maybe not though, because I might have something else happening next week. Ooh, what am I setting up for next week? Anyways, I want to talk about this. There is this amazing YouTuber, I guess. Well, he's more of a journalist than a YouTuber. Oh, speaking of YouTuber, that whole Friendly Geordie situation. Oh, god damn. Go watch everything about that. Don't watch my fucking hot take on it because everything has already been said. So wild still though. There's this guy on YouTube called Johnny Harris. Now, I highly recommend his videos because they are super informative and very interesting. Yeah, again, he talks about all types of different things. He really hones in on a topic because that's what a journalist does and talks about it. He did one on why the ice cream machines at McDonald's are always broken, and holy shit, you need to watch that because that's a wild, deep conspiracy. It's not even a conspiracy; it's just this wild, deep thing that happens. Anyways, one of his recent videos that we watched during lockdown, released a couple of years ago, is he talked about leaving the Mormon church. Now, I didn't know he was actually Mormon, or he used to be, but yeah, he spoke about it, and it was really interesting to watch because it's actually kind of similar to what happened in my world. Now, not as deep. I was not a Mormon, but I was kind of really deep in the church, and I'm going to preface it, it's no shade to anyone involved in the church or anything like that. I have my opinions, you have your opinions, it's cool. I'm still friends. I've got friends who are religious, and that's totally cool. Okay, want to preface it with this. There's no shade to them. This is just my own personal experience. So, and it's not extreme as Johnny Harris, because when you're a Mormon, you're born into that religion. I chose to go down the Christian path. I want to set it up. Sorry, my cat is really, really screaming. I want to set up by saying that, what was I going to say? I was heavily involved in the Christian church, I'm going to say it, Hillsong. I was deep in that for a few years, and it was my life. I went to Bible study. I was part of the church band and all that kind of stuff, okay? So this is why I'm saying it's relatable to... this video that he did is very similar to what happened in my life. So again, he talks about how crazy it was leaving because, you're born into it, your family, your friends, everyone in your life is fucking Mormon, okay? So you basically have to reset your whole life. With me, it wasn't the case. I had other friends, and that was one of the reasons why I left the church, actually. That and a myriad of other things. Not saying that, I was peer pressured out of the church or whatever. So yeah, it was good to watch because it felt like, I was like, oh yeah, people don't talk about this enough, as much as I did have other friends to go to and stuff, I did lose a big part of my life, and it definitely didn't affect me long term, but the video definitely got me thinking about that situation. I thought, oh yeah, that did happen to me actually. That kind of fucking sucked. I had a lot of people who I thought were cool just turn their back on me, and which is funny because, that's when you think of the church, it's all about love and acceptance and stuff, but not the case. And that's exactly what Johnny Harris was talking about, he left because the ideologies within the Mormon church weren't line up to his new world views, because he became a journalist and he traveled the world and he got to experience all these new cultures, and it was like, hey, wait a minute, like this is kind of fucked up what we're doing. So that was in a nutshell his, but again, I'm not going to speak for him, so go watch his story. But yeah, I went to, for those who don't know, I went to a private religious school in my tiny little hometown. Like, our graduating class was like 40 people. And I do remember when I left the church, and it was weird even with my teachers, okay? Now, I did go from one extreme to the other, to be fair, because it's funny, like, in Johnny's video, it's like, oh, I'm pretty sure he said in his video, I didn't go off start, like, doing drugs and stuff like that. I did. Yeah, I did go from one extreme to the other, but that's just because I was going through some other things that I might talk about at some point in my life when I'm comfortable to talk about it. But yeah, it was. I was trying to think why I even fucking bothered saying that then if I wasn't going to talk about it. But yeah, I did go from one extreme to the other. That's right. So I did start becoming disruptive in school. Started hanging out with the bad kids. You know how it is. Like when you start running in these streets. But yeah, oh God, why did I say that? No wonder I got bullied. Honestly, no wonder I got bullied. But yeah, I was disruptive in class, and I actually started looking into Buddhism when I was about 17, because I had a family member reach out to me and was like, yo, I know your life's not good right now because you're really going through some hectic shit. And they gave me some things to think about. I started meditating. And meditating just kind of snowballed into Buddhism. And for a long time, and still to this day, I do say that I practice Buddhism to an extent, mainly like meditation and things like that, because it is like a really interesting thing. Again, not here to talk about that. But basically, I don't know how it came about, but some fucking dickhead at my school found out that I was practicing Buddhism and, meditating, whatever. And they brought it up with one of my teachers, and they brought it up in class. I don't know who it was, but fuck you, man. You're such a loser. Someone brought it up in class, and they said, oh, Miss Warwick's into Buddhism, and everyone laughed. Don't know why it's funny, but, as a teenager, maybe you find that shit funny. And then she told everyone to settle down because everyone was like starting to make a lot of fun with me. Yeah, this is just like a fucking little peek about what my high school experience was like. And she got everyone to stop bullying me. And then she turned to me. I will always remember this for the rest of my life. She turned to me and said, now, Warwick, why would you turn your back on God like that? Man, what a bold statement to make. Yeah, so I remember that, and I remember leaving the class for whatever reason because I was just so fucking upset about the situation. And this is why I do say, I have friends who are religious, but I totally respect their views because I know what it's like to be fucking criticized for my views and made fun of, and it's not fucking cool, man. Like, I was gonna say something really deep, but some shit I probably shouldn't say, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But yeah, man, fuck those people. So yeah, big, respect to all religions and stuff, but keep religion out of politics. ScoMo, like. He's always seen at the Hillsong Church, and I was like, Mo, I've been there. I've been there, and that in politics, they don't mix at all. I remember, yeah, dude. Oh fuck, I could talk for ages about this shit, man. I used to go on like church camps and all that type of shit. Yeah, okay, get it out, have a laugh. I went to church camps and whatnot. We did sit by the fire and sing Kumbaya. But I do remember speaking to some of like the older, what would you call them, like the leadership team or something like that, basically adults, and I'd speak to them about things, um about whatever, I don't know, peer pressure shit or whatever, and they're always so judgmental about it. And I remember I brought up something about homosexuality, because a lot of my family is actually gay, just to get it out there in the world, I guess. No big deal if you're gay, straight, whatever. But yeah, half my family is gay, and I brought this up. I don't know why I brought this up with whoever it was, and they basically were just saying like, don't ever speak of that shit. Gay people will go to hell and all that type of judgmental kind of stuff. But then they always say, God is here not to judge you and all this. And like, because, I would tell them I was drinking before I went to church and things like, not like on the day, but just in general before I found God. I would drink underage and stuff like that. And they would say, oh, like God's full of love and he forgives. And I was like, but unless you're gay, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of conflicting statements there. One of many reasons why, actually, I can just say it, like, because there's nothing hectic. I literally just woke up one day, and it's exactly the same as Johnny Harris. Just woke up one day and thought, what am I doing? And then I left. I left the church, and that's it. And ever since then, I've always been open-minded to other people's faiths and whatnot. And yeah, I'm definitely a better person for it now. So, shout out to all the people who are religious, and shout out to those who aren't. It is what it is. With that being said, I think we're going to wrap it up, folks. Because as you can tell, my cat, he really wants to play. And I have lost my video for some reason because I think my card is full. So thanks again, even though this video is now cut out, for tuning in for another episode of the Mace Podcast. You can find me on Spotify and YouTube and all that great shit. And I will see you guys next episode. Peace, love, bye.